Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Ride the Six. I hope you're having a good, long Easter weekend wherever you are. Anyways, we're still working on the R6 converted FZ6R, and we've got a new package in from Revzilla. I've been wanting these babies for a while. These are the Shogun carbon no-cut frame sliders for the FZ6R. Let's take a look. Let's open them up. You can probably see there's a little bit of a carbon fiber theme there. Looks pretty cool. Same thing. Some of the mounts. And I'm assuming that's probably going to be the bolts. So, take a quick look there. There we go. These are most likely bolts to mount to the frame. I assume they're going to use one of these engine mount bolts, I suspect, in the frame. I don't know exactly where they mount. There are actually no instructions in the box, but it does say here on the cover, for instructions, moto911.com. So let me take a look at those instructions, and then we'll come back and we'll see if we can't locate where these frame sliders are going to mount on the bike. So I've opened up the box, guys, and all the parts. So there you go. You have your right and your left frame slider. Also, one thing to note is one side is longer than the other, and it does make a difference on where it gets installed. We're going to check the instructions. There's 4 bolts. I don't know exactly which is which yet. We have our 2 end caps with there's 5 screws for each end cap, and then we have what I assume are the mounting plates that mount to the engine studs or the engine bolts. Anyways, I have the instructions. Let's take a quick read on the instructions. Okay, so this is FZ6R. It says 09, 010, but we know it's pretty much 09 to 17. Okay, carefully read the instructions in their entirety before installation. Professional installation is recommended. Always use proper safety measures to the install of this product. Do not try to install this product without proper tools. Recently calibrated torque wrench, correct torque specs from the factory service manuals, safety goggles and gloves. The motorcycle must be in a fixed, secure position before the installation process begins. Very important, guys. Do not remove both engine studs at the same time. I highlighted that on the sheet. You don't want to put strain on the rest of your motor mount points. Shogun is not responsible for any part of your motorcycle for any reason. Precisely measured location of cut, and if in doubt at any point, please call us before the process has begun. So here's your list of parts, your puck, all the stuff I just showed you in the box. Okay, frame sliders, here you go. Left side frame slider is longer than the right. So that's what I was saying, guys. Both offsets have a flat side that the frame slider mounts to. Lay both on a table. The one that is taller or thicker is the left side. Okay. This kit has 2 10 by 1.5 by 45 coarse threaded socket cap bolts and 1 10 by 1.25 by 45 fine threaded cap bolt. The fine threaded bolt is the main engine stud bolt for the right side. Do not try to thread in the 10 by 1.5 by 45 coarse thread bolt into the engine case, or it will cause damage. Okay, so there's the beginning, and remove left and right body panels. Well, we've already got that covered. They've been off for about 2 years, give or take. Okay. Remove the left side engine stud. Mount the left side offset to the main engine stud, only tighten enough so you can still move the offset by hand. Loosely mount the left side body panel. Adjust the offset so the frame slider, when mounted, will clear the bodywork. Okay, remove the loosely mounted puck and body panel with the offset in the correct position and torque down to OEM specs. And I'm going to find those OEM specs from the manual. Use 1 drop of blue thread locker. Mount the left side puck to the offset and torque down to 30 to 32 foot-pounds. Okay, so then it's the right side. Remove the right side engine stud. Mount the right side offset. Engine stud, only tighten enough so you can still move the offset by hand. Loosely mount the right side body panel and adjust the offset so the frame slider, when mounted, will clear the bodywork. Make sure the puck is lined up in the same location that the left side is. Remove the loosely mounted puck and the body panel with the offset in the correct position. Torque down to OEM torque specs. So again, use 1 drop of thread locker, left side, and 30 to 32 foot-pounds. Okay, so those are approximate. I guess it's a little bit of Fitbit. You got to probably try, guys. You got to put these in loosely, and then you are going to tighten them all in once you have your body panels in place and have the right alignment, essentially. Okay, read carefully. These are probably the don't blame us. Okay, Shogun cannot guarantee that they will protect your motorcycle from any extent of damage. Shogun frame sliders are really meant to help possibly save the frame from damage in the event of a crash. Because Shogun frame slider products have been successful in saving saving cases, bodywork, levers, and so on in the past, customers just assume sometimes you can put on the product and no damage will happen. The fact is, some crashes result in little or no damage to the motorcycle, and some bikes are destroyed. It's kind of like a bumper on a car. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on all the different forces applied during the accident or during the incident. We have seen bikes crash at 100 miles per hour with little damage, and some at 15 miles per hour with major damage. So that's essentially a disclaimer. But yeah, like, you know, this bike has actually been down twice, and I was lucky enough that it did not scratch any of my engine covers. So again, it's luck, guys. It's exactly what they're saying. And I just want to put these on because they look cool. I'm not putting them on because I think it's going to save the bike or that I need them. I've wanted these for 2 years, and I think they're going to go really cool on the bike. And one other thing too, you can buy different color end caps here. I wanted either red or gold, but they were all out of stock. So I bought the frame sliders, and I'll probably upgrade the end caps later. All right. Let's see. Let me start tinkering on the bike. Let me see where this stuff is going to get mounted, and then I'll be right back. So the first thing to really do, guys, is to separate your right and your left pieces. So in the manual here, so it's talking about these anodized, I guess what I call these an adapter piece. It says both offsets have a flat side that the frame slider mounts to. Lay both on a table, and the one that is taller or thicker is the left side. So if you lay both these pieces down, you can see which one is the taller or thicker one, and this will be the left, and this will be the right. So that's step one in identifying right and left. Now, the next thing I was looking at is the bolts. So over here, so this is the left side, and you can see it has a 10 by 120, a 10 by 1.5 by 45, and a 10 by 125 by 60. Now, the 60 represents the length of the bolt. I've just verified that with a tape measure. This bolt is 60 millimeters from the end of the thread up to here where the bolt head is. So that long bolt is the left side bolt. Every other bolt in this kit is 45. So there's two coarse thread, this one and this one, and then there's two fine thread, this one and this one, and the longer fine thread being the 60 mil is the left side, and the other one, which they say is actually, it says a 45, but I've measured it, it's almost a 50. This is the right side. So that's very important, guys, to get your left and right separated before you even attempt this. If not, you may have some problems with bolts, and we don't want to really screw anything up. Okay, let's start getting this bolted up to the bike. Alright, so we're going to start on the left side of the bike, guys. Now this is the left engine case bolt. At least this is the one I suspect it is. This is actually in very tight, and this is an 8mm Allen key T-handle thing I have. This is in very tight. You may need a breaker bar to get this out of your bike. It took quite a bit for me to break this loose. So we're just going to unbolt this bolt. Okay. So if we compare with the original frame bolt and the new frame bolt that goes through the spacer, it's very similar. It looks right. Okay, let's put that aside. I would like to use that washer again if possible. Okay, so this is the washer off the original bolt. I'm going to put it behind this adapter plate, between that and the frame, the same way it would have been before removing the bolt. Alright, and we're just gonna loosely tighten this in till it comes snug. Okay, there we go. It has come somewhat tight, and this is the approximate location of the slider. And then for the, so again, the long slider is the left. So we're going to use the other bolt, which is the 45, the coarse thread. We're going to drop it in, and we are going to mount this to the adapter plate. Alright, so there we go. So this is loosely installed, guys. Now I need to put the fairing on and see exactly where we have to move this piece. As you can see, it does have a fair bit of movement, and we want it in the right spot. So, okay guys, so I have my left side fairing loosely fitted. I just have it tacked up at the top. I don't even have any screws in it, but that's roughly where the fairing sits. You can see we have enough clearance around the fairing for the frame slider, and I can move it a little bit right now, but it's actually in a good spot where it is. It's actually cleared everything, and it does come out, and it protects basically your engine covers on this side. So I'm happy with the positioning of this. I'm going to get this tightened back in. Use a little bit of blue Loctite, guys, on the bolt that you're putting back into your motor mount. I actually took the washer back out. I felt that it was maybe pushing this out a little further, and this was hitting the fairing where I didn't want. So I took the washer out. I put a little bit of blue thread locker on the thread, and we're now going to torque this motor mount bolt into 39 foot-pounds. Not sure, but can you see my torque wrench? 38.9 or something like that, close enough. This frame slider's in a happy spot where I think we're good. So I'm going to torque this in. There we go, 39 foot-pounds. So our frame bolt is in, it's torqued in at the right spec. I just did a quick look in the service manual, guys, and that's what I found, 39 foot-pounds. If that number's wrong, I'm sorry, but that's just quickly what I found. Alright, let's do a final test fitting of the left side. Let's make sure we're in the right spot. Okay, there we go. Fairing is on. We have clearance from the frame slider. I'll bring the camera around so you can see a little bit better. Hopefully the light's not too bad in here. But anyways, our left frame slider is done. We just need to torque down the last bolt in here. And again, I'm going to put a little bit of blue Loctite on it. A little bit of blue Loctite on this bolt. Close that up before it leaks everywhere. Okay, and we are going to bolt this into our mounting offset. Okay, and it said 30 to 32 foot-pounds on that piece as per the instructions. We're going to back this off. We're going to set it at 32. Okay, there we go, 32. Alright, and let's torque this in. There we go, guys. 32 foot-pounds to connect the puck to the offset. And 39 pounds for the engine bolt from the offset into the engine mount. So our left side is done. We just need to throw the puck on. I'll do that at the end. Let's go over to the right side. Here we are over on the right hand side of the bike. We are going to remove this engine bolt. Again, guys, do not remove both your right and left engine bolts at the same time. Do one side at a time. Again, this is very tight. I've already cracked it. Bolts coming out very easy. My bike sits inside, so there's not a lot of rust or anything on my bike. There's not really a lot of weather that gets to it. Okay, so same thing on this side. The fine thread bolt goes into the engine mount. The coarse thread bolt holds your puck to your offset. I'm going to take this washer out again, guys, on this side, and I'm going to put a little bit of thread lock just on our bolt here. I don't know if it's required, but it will it'll never hurt, especially because it's a frame bolt. I actually found a motor frame bolt missing on my parts bike, which I thought was a bit strange. Okay. So again, this is your fine thread bolt. They call it a 45 on the paperwork, but I measured the bolt is actually a 50. So let's see if this goes in all the way. Okay, so that threaded in nicely, guys. No resistance. Threaded in very nice. Okay, now I need to get my right side fairing, and I need to check the fitment, and then we're going to basically torque this back into 39 foot-pounds again. So there we go. I have my brand new right side fairing mock fitted up. I haven't tightened it in. It's just sitting in place. This is pretty exciting to me, guys, because this is the first time this bike has had full fairings on it in 2 years, and we are really nearing the completion of this R6 front end conversion. This is the first FZ6R in the world that I have seen fully fairinged with some kind of converted front end R6. I've seen another guy that had a Kawasaki front end done, but this is the very first one in Canada for sure, and maybe the very first full fairinged conversion in the world with an R6 front end. Anyways, let's get back to our frame slider here. You can see the fairing is clearing the frame slider properly. We can bolt this in. So let me pull this fairing back off quickly, and we will torque all this in, and we'll be done with these frame sliders. Okay, we already have our thread lock on that bolt. We are just going to torque this in now to 39 foot-pounds. Hopefully it won't move this time, but I have a feeling it's probably going to move as well. It is trying to move, so you need to hold it in place. Kind of a pain. Okay, there we go, 39 foot-pounds. And we're going to back the wrench off a little bit. We're going to go back to 32. And I'm going to put a little thread lock on this bolt. I'll bring this around a little bit. Got some sun shining outside there today. This is our Easter weekend in Canada. Okay, a little bit of thread lock on our bolt. Ooh, tons. These should not have to come off anytime soon, guys, to be honest. Okay, let's get this tightened in. Okay, and now let's torque it in 32 foot-pounds. There we go. Okay, frame sliders are mounted. Let me get the right wrenches. We're just going to install the end caps and we'll be finished. Okay, this is just a smaller sized Allen key. I don't know the right exact size because mine are all worn off on my tools. All I know is it fits, and we're going to bolt these down in a star crisscross pattern. Just going to go hand tight. There's no real torque settings on these, I don't believe. Okay, so we're all in. Let's start snugging them up. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I can feel them. I don't want to over tighten these by any means. They don't feel like they're spinning, but they are tightening in. So there's our right side done. Let me just zip around to the left and we'll put that on as well. I just loosely put all 5 of these little screws in the end cap, and it looks like that theory is working. I don't have to chase the bolts or the screws. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to see if there's actually a mention. I don't think it actually says anything in here as far as those little covers. I don't know that. Guess that noise maybe means they're getting tight enough. I don't know, but I have a feeling I might put a little bit of thread locker on those bolts, guys. I just don't want them falling out. Okay, and there you go, guys. There is our carbon S5 no-cut frame sliders installed on a Yamaha FZ6R 2009 to 2017. So it's not difficult. You gotta have your torque wrench and you gotta have your fairings so that you can just kind of line them up. If you're running a naked version of the bike, kind of the same way I have been the last 2 years, it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about where your fairings are gonna come or anything. So, alright guys, thanks for tuning in for this episode where we got these frame sliders mounted up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment in the video. Rubber sign down, boys. Happy riding.